Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode. I'm on quarantine, official quarantine, day 2, self-quarantine, day 6. We're hanging in there. What else do I have to do besides make you a video? I couldn't think of anything more important to be doing with my time. So, as many of you may be cooped up with your family for some time, or if it hasn't hit yet, it probably will, the quarantine, I mean. If that's your case, I think this is a very timely video for you, and that is understanding kind of some tips on best practices for how to talk to your family about this crisis, about cryptocurrencies, and how it's all tied together. So if you're interested, if you've got nothing better to do, go ahead and stay tuned. I'm going to get into it. Okay, so if this is your very first time speaking to your family or loved ones about cryptocurrencies, there's one thing you should know. They may not take your suggestions very seriously because deep down, they can remember changing your diapers. They can remember your awkward teen years. They can remember all of the bad decisions you've ever made, pretty much just going through life. So try to have some patience and try to keep that in mind as you're having these conversations. Now, if you have already tried to have these conversations with your family members, loved ones before, but now you're feeling this sense of urgency to revisit these conversations again due to the recent events we're seeing happening around the world, not just with coronavirus, but with the kind of global economic situation. I hope that those conversations this time around will focus far more heavily on things like the utility that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies can afford you, rather than just price speculation, which most likely was the case the last time around you're talking to your family, especially if it was around 2017, 2018, when your family might have been asking you about cryptocurrencies because they were hearing about it on the mainstream media because of price action. This time around, I think it's much more important for you to initiate the conversations and again, focus much more heavily or solely focus on the utility of cryptocurrencies. I will be going into the specific topics of conversation that I would definitely be recommending you to get into at the very end of this video. So please stick around for those. I think they're very important for you. Now, again, because of the sense of urgency you may be feeling due to the current events seeing around the world happening, I think it is very important for you to focus on things like why cryptocurrency exists and how it is different from the current financial system that your family members, loved ones are currently participating in. You can worry about overwhelming them about things like custody and security later on. But for now, I think these topics are very important to hit on because they will continue to ring more and more true as time moves on, as we see these governments really floundering from their poor central planning decisions and the repercussions of them. Now, if you are doubting your ability to have these types of conversations with your family, but you kind of have a grasp on their importance, I definitely recommend you to check out all of the videos that I have linked down below in the video description, as well as some of them will be here in the upper right-hand corner for you. These videos are definitely a good kickoff for a lot of conversations that you can have. If you feel like you need a refresher, go ahead and watch these videos with your family members. And after the video, have a conversation, see what kind of questions are kicked off. And also, a concept like cryptocurrencies, especially as it is being introduced to someone who is, like their first introduction to it, it should be assumed that they're not really going to understand it just the first time around. So don't be shy to watch a video as many times as is needed until you or them are a lot more comfortable and confident in their understanding of the concepts. And because of this, I definitely, again, want to encourage you to be supportive and patient, because if this is a brand new topic, something that has been portrayed as being taboo by the mainstream media. So they might already have that kind of aversion to something like cryptocurrencies because criminals use it. But anyway, again, supportive and patient, that's going to be your key here. So here are some specific topics that I think would be wise for you to talk about with your family members and loved ones so that they can begin to grasp, again, why cryptocurrencies exist and how they are different from the current financial system. First off, how the concept of a debt-based system has resulted in central banks, both for the US and Europe, around the world, has allowed central banks to essentially print money out of thin air. Next, of course, is how this money printing has resulted in the devaluation of your currency over time. Next, how big banks are the first to acquire this newly printed money and how they benefit from it. They benefit from it because they take this newly printed money, they benefit from their early access to it, by the way, because they don't see the effects of the devaluation that happens over time. They get to the newly, freshly minted money before that money has been devalued. So big banks get their hands on this newly printed money and they encourage people to take out loans. They use it to issue loans to people. Now, here's the thing. Banks don't make money by people who pay off loans quickly and timely. They make money from interest, collecting interest. So lots of times they will be issuing loans to people who might not be able to pay off those loans because, again, it's kind of in the bank's best interest to get that interest rate. That is their income, really. And lastly, this connection between governments and currency and how this entraps the citizens into their money-making scheme. So that is why Bitcoin was created. That is why people for years have been trying to create a decentralized network for the transmission of value, a peer-to-peer, decentralized, censorship-resistant, open source, beautiful environment. That is what I just went over is, again, why Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were created. Now, here is how they are different. Bitcoin and other decentralized open source cryptocurrencies are a completely voluntary system. No government is going to force you to use them because they can't control them. And how does that benefit a government if they can't control the thing that they want to control, aka the people, through their currency? So voluntary system, and that is a very beautiful aspect to this whole cryptocurrency space. Number two, a very important aspect, again, specifically for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies who have this system hard-coded into their software, and that is a limited supply, as in the emission rate or the creation of new Bitcoins are hard-coded. It is transparent, as in it is publicly available information because it is open source code, and it is hard-coded, so no one can ever change it due to any kind of political agenda. You know exactly how many Bitcoin will be created at what time and at what point no more Bitcoin will be created, as in you can't be printing Bitcoin out of thin air to devalue it. Also a note, not every cryptocurrency has these attributes. Some of them do, some of them don't. Definitely something important to pay attention to. Again, these regarding the supply of the coins. And to kind of pivot from things like precious metals, who a lot of the philosophy behind the creation of cryptocurrencies are in line with those who are really into precious metals like gold and silver. But there's one very, very fine difference between the crypto crowd and the gold crowd, and that is the fact that, yes, is custody, really. Custody and the ease of transferability. So with gold and silver, yes, you can have the physical gold, physical silver in your hands, and that is valuable. But when it comes to transporting this value, whether it be to other people or to other countries, far distances, that is where, again, the benefit of Bitcoin Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies come into existence. Also, you can counterfeit things like gold or silver. Yes, weight has a lot to do with that, but with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the ownership or the legitimacy of the coin is again transparent and freely available to view within the open sourceness of the code. So you can kind of think of cryptos as a step up to the precious metal crowd. I might be pissing off quite a few people saying this, but that's my opinion. But anyway, before I get into that rabbit hole, I think that is definitely quite a few topics for you to get into. Hopefully it will spark quite a few very interesting conversations that you'll have with your family or loved ones. Maybe it's been a while since you've had a deep conversation. Maybe it'll be the first time you ever have a deep conversation. We're all in quarantine. In Portugal, we're in quarantine, but around the world, I'm sure everyone's going to be touched by this social distancing, closing yourself up into your house. So what better time to have a feisty conversation with your family members? But in all seriousness, those topics I just listed should be quite enough for you to get you started. If you are interested in learning more about the current events that we're seeing unfold globally, I'm going live every week with my husband, Toby. He is very well read in geopolitics and has a lot to contribute to that conversation. So weekly, we have kind of like a fireside chat, and you guys are welcome to participate in the live chat with comments and questions and things. So it's kind of good to get a conversation going, obviously, to talk about these things. If you want to get notified and be sure to tune in when we go live, you're going to need to follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification. Those are where I give out all my announcements for when I'm going live. That's going to wrap it up for today, but I will be seeing you guys soon. In the meantime, I wish you all well with your health and happiness. So have a good one.